To quit or not to quit? I think that's a decision all of us are faced with at one point or the other in our lives. Some of you probably clicked on to the video today and you are at a place where you're considering to quit or to stay in a job, stay in a degree program, in a relationship, or something in between. And I think this video will help you because I want to challenge your thinking about quitting, staying, or moving on. I'm going to talk about something called the sunk cost fallacy. And I know some of you probably are wondering what is that. And I'm going to explain it, and I believe that as soon as I get into the explanation, you're going to be like, oh, okay, that's what he's talking about. So stick around for the video and let's get into talking about the sunk cost fallacy right now. Welcome back, thanks for sticking around. If this is your first time on the channel, my name is Luke Smith. And if you are returning, welcome back, thanks for being a part of the family as we are on a journey of growth and getting better together. So with the sunk cost fallacy, I want to consider this. So you just spent $500 on an event ticket, it's non-refundable. And on the day or the day before the event, you get a call that your parent has fallen extremely ill and they're requesting your presence. There's no way for you to do both because you may likely have to travel out of town to go to where your parent is. But when it comes on to now making the decision, you decide to go to that event because you had already invested that $500 and you're not going to go to be with your parent because probably it was so last minute. And I know this is a bit of an extreme example, but I use this one to show you just how irrational that is, and that is exactly the concept of the sunk cost. You are weighing your decisions heavily on the fact that you had invested time, effort, or resources, may it be money or other things, into something, and so you feel like you cannot let go of it, you cannot move on from it because of what you had invested, and that is the sunk cost. And I know it sounds so out there, but many of us, that's exactly how we make our decisions. Consider this: you are in a relationship for 2 to 3 years or probably more, and over time you realize that this relationship is just so toxic, it's not helpful for either of you. You wake up every morning, you're depressed, you're stressed, you argue every minute over every and anything, and internally you can feel like this relationship is dying, it's not going anywhere. But because of the time that you invested, the effort as well, and probably money that you spent on dates, you are committed to staying in this situation despite how harmful it is to not only you but also the other person. And the sunk cost fallacy will kind of break down as you venture off probably into marriage, because I am not an advocate for divorce, I am not an advocate for this whole cut off people culture, whereas the moment something bad happens in a relationship, your first decision is to jump and to cut everybody off. That's not what I'm suggesting, but I am saying we need to take time in thinking about our decision and not allowing ourselves to just stay in situations simply because we have spent time, money, and effort on whatever that thing is. Still try to work on those problems, because sometimes very valuable relationships can be born out of difficult times, but you really have to weigh the pros and cons and weigh how much you're willing to put up with. So we just spoke about it in terms of relationships. Let's shift gears to now education, because I have seen a lot of people that have stayed in degree programs that it's like they come to the realization that this is definitely not something that I want to do. Maybe initially you felt like this was something that would be beneficial to you, but over time you have taken some time to evaluate and introspect, and you realize that this is not it. There is nothing wrong with considering moving into another degree program. I know of many people that have spent the time and thought about weigh the pros and cons and switch their degree programs, and when they drop into that degree, man, it's like the world has come off their shoulder and they're free. They're just into their own and enjoying it. And I am not advocating for double-mindedness, because there is also the other side of it where when you commit to something, you should stay true to your commitment. So that's why the education one is a little bit more tricky, because it's not necessarily you quitting, but you course correcting and making adjustments. And I have kind of had to do something similar. So when I developed the back injury, I was going to school, I was studying online at the time, and one of the medication that I was on made it very difficult to concentrate. So whenever I took that, I'd be disoriented and I couldn't really focus. So I'd usually have to take that one after the work day. So I was just really struggling mentally, emotionally, and physically as well. And I reached out to my advisor and I tell him that I really need to drop out for a while. I need to take a break, because I was honestly tempted to push through it because I was was close to the end. I had like 12 credits left to finish the program, and I weighed the pros and cons and said that I'm gonna drop out for a while just to allow myself the time to heal, to get off the medication and all that. And for anyone that has taken a break from school, you know that when you stop school for a while, one of the most difficult things is to get back into the frame of mind to continue and to start up again. So I was really worried about that. I really considered pushing through all of the feelings that I was having at the time, but then I started to fail. I started failing classes, and I had to end up redoing a few classes when I restarted. But I just really want to challenge your thinking today, because like in my previous video, I spent some time talking about the importance of getting started, of pushing through feelings and all that stuff. But not many people spend the time to talk about knowing when it is to stop, when to quit, when to change course, when to move on from something. And I seriously just want to spend this time and challenge you with this idea. And if this is your first time hearing about the sunk cost fallacy, I'm gonna link an article in the description that you guys can check out, and engage with me in the comments if this is something that you have thought about before, or maybe if you are at a place right now where you are weighing different pros and cons, maybe as it relates to a job, you're thinking about leaving a job, you're thinking about leaving a relationship or something of the sort, and you have found yourself battling with the sunk cost fallacy. Something I'll challenge you to know is that it's already gone. It's a sunk cost. You can't get it back. That time, that effort, that money that you have invested, you can't get it back. I know that that's a bit depressing, that's a bit disheartening, but that's the reality. And I seriously challenge you today to not allow the sunk cost to be the basis for your decision making. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I really hope that I challenge the way you think about quitting, about moving on, about making a decision today. And I have some more videos here that you can check out, so click on them, and thank you so much for watching.